We have had several million of our young men, women in America deployed, sometimes multiple times, in our defense. And the stresses and the experiences that they face in military are huge.
When we talk to military families, one of the things that we hear over and over again is how difficult the separation and the reintegration is. That really wreaks havoc with the family life.
The University of Michigan Depression Center has created a unique, innovative clinical delivery and prevention program called MSPAN. It is designed to address pressing needs for service members, veterans, for families. It is essentially filling the void that now exists for so many, especially National Guard and Reserve members who are coming home to communities. They come back as citizens again. They don't have support systems in those communities that are available for those who come back to a military base. The needs of these returning service members and families are great.
I completed my 8-year application to the U.S. Army and then found the Michigan National Guard. And really it was the opportunity to become EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal, is what brought me to the Michigan National Guard.
Muge and I met at a pool hall. He was funny, made me laugh. I just knew. We got married 3.5 months after we met.
She was pregnant with Caleb, and her son Kyle and I, we had a model rocket hobby going on, and we were just happy to be together, being newlyweds and being married and starting a family and baby on the way.
And then there were whisperings that now this unit was going to, in fact, be deployed to Iraq for 6 months. And that happened very fast, and they were gone.
The day that I deployed, I still remember it in detail. Beth and Caleb and Kyle were there, and I was just a wreck. It was horrible. It was a long, long, quiet flight, and then I landed in Baghdad. I remember looking out the window and saw little fires all over the place. And then the door opened, and it smelled burnt. The air was burnt, which kind of set the tone for how the next 6 months would go. We basically lived out of our Humvee. We would spend our time on the dangerous roads, and instead of staying away from locations of IEDs, we're driving to it. So really that was just life, was jumping from incident to incident. The experience of my partner dying in front of me, I wasn't the same after it had happened. My second partner blew up in front of me too. When I came home, I remember getting off the plane and there was some grass. And I took off my boots and my socks and I walked in the grass and there was a pine tree there. And I looked on the ground and there was a pine cone. And I picked it up and I took a bite out of it. You just had to feel it. I made it. I'm alive. And then coming home and facing the process to fix yourself, because we don't even realize that we're broken.
He is still to this day a completely different person than the person that I married. The deployment separated us as a family. And then not only did it separate us, it put us into extreme situations separately. Plus, he had had all this shared experience with other people and not with me. So there was a struggle to try to reconnect with me.
One of the things that we heard again and again when we were working with military families during the deployment cycle is that the service members have a sense of what will happen to them during deployment and to a lesser extent after deployment. The families get nothing. So families said, we need to have similar kinds of educational programs and supports. We're not getting what we need. So the University of Michigan Depression Center created a consortium of support services to help both service members and their families cope with recurrent deployments and reintegration.
The MSPAN program consists of actually 5 components. Strong Families, a program for military families with young children. Homefront Strong, a program for spouses of military service members. Deployment Cycle Support, a series of workshops both pre- and post-deployment, before they go into military action, when they come home. Military Family Support Forum, a program, a monthly forum for military family members to help them in dealing with their issues. And the Buddy to Buddy program, which is a wonderful peer support program using the strengths of we help each other.
When they come home, everybody has changed.
The University of Michigan is leading the way in many important ways for military families. We are also educating the next generation, so we are working with partners at Michigan State, at Western Michigan University, with the National Guard, and with colleagues across the state to begin to train other practitioners so that others can become familiar with some of the unique challenges for military families.
Almost 8 years ago, that's when I came back. The search and the struggle and the fight and the learning and the changing and the improving and the fixing never ends, but it gets better.
The program armed me with knowledge that I did not have and desperately needed in a context of shared military experience, and it cemented parenting skills that I can use for the rest of my life and that he can use.
I did Kyle's cat.
I know without the programs, I wouldn't have the relationship that I now have with my kids. There's nothing out there like it where you go for help and to become stronger as a family.
I think what people don't understand is that the sacrifice goes beyond even him sacrificing his life in front of a bomb. It goes on and on and on. So when the soldier comes home, the war is not over. Everybody, oh yay, you're home, and here's the yellow ribbon, and we're so happy, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and people have been incredibly nice. It's when you close the doors of your house and it's still affecting you. War is still in your home. It does not go away, and nobody's there to help, and that's why we need these programs.
The programs work. The problems turn out to be that they are not generally supported by routine healthcare delivery initiatives. We've got to have other types of support to make them happen. Private philanthropy is absolutely essential in building these programs and in expanding them. The needs out there are still tremendous.
In fact, it is only the gifts from individual donors that allow us to innovate, refine, and distribute these cutting-edge approaches that put families back together. And it is only the individual gifts that enable us to obtain additional federal and foundation funding. Together, we can do this.
It is absolutely the responsibility and the privilege of all citizens of this country to support our military families. These are families who have stepped up for us during a period of war, and we have an obligation to step up for them following it.
These men and women have served us. We have to serve them.